Hello, BookTube. Well, today is President's Day here in America, which is a federal holiday, which was going to be bitter enough, as it is, because the President of the United States currently is the most deplorable human being who's ever occupied the office, which has been occupied by slave owners in the past. America's president currently is a racist, sexist, fascist, lying moron who will stay in office for 8 years and leave with extremely high approval ratings, but who has, well, to cut a long monologue short, it's not exactly a day in his honor. And yet he thinks, and will be freely telling people and tweeting all day long, that it's only in his honor. That it's not really meant to honor any of the other presidents. He's already made it perfectly clear in press conferences in front of incredulous foreign leaders that he considers himself to be the best president by far that the country has ever had. He was willing, occasionally in the first few months of the first year of his administration, to allow that maybe Truman or Lincoln might have been, that maybe FDR, 4 terms, getting the country through World War II, but no, not anymore. Now that all the ratings are in, he's perfectly content to say that he's the best one we've ever had, and that makes the day pretty bitter anyway. Well, it gets even more bitter for me because, of course, I was looking forward to it thinking not only is everyone going to be talking about presidents, but there's no mail. But lo and behold, there was mail. I did get some packages, so I thought we'd go through them on President's Day and try and perk myself up. And the first one is from Grey Wolf Press. They are a very brainy publisher. I've never yet read a book of theirs that had even the mention of a giant prehistoric killer shark, not much less the real thing. So we'll see what this is. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. All right. This is a slim volume of poetry. Comes out in April. It's called Eye Level, and it's by Jenny Xie O'Connor, I'm thinking that is pronounced. And she is the author of Nowhere to Arrive, and her poems appear in American Poetry Review, The New Republic, Poetry, Tin House, and elsewhere. And she lives and teaches in New York. Okay, so a slim volume of poetry from Grey Wolf. Then, what is this next one? Finished copy of something. What have we here? Okay, all right. This is from Harvard University Press. Comes out in the beginning of March. And it is First in Fly, Drosophila Research and Biological Discovery. That is Drosophila melanogaster. That is the common housefly that is used in innumerable scientific experiments and has been forever for the equivalent of hundreds of generations of the whole book on Drosophila melanogaster. How on earth is that possible? Let's find out how that's possible. One species of fly has been the subject of scientific research for more than 100 years. Why does this tiny insect merit such intense scrutiny? I'm sure that many tormented and tortured Drosophilias have also asked that question in their own fly language. Drosophilia's importance as a research organism began with its short life cycle, ability to reproduce in large numbers, and easy-to-see mutant phenotypes. Over time, laboratory investigation revealed surprising similarities between flies and other animals at the level of genes, gene networks, cell interactions, physiology, immunity, and behavior. Like humans, flies learn and remember, fight microbial infection, and slow down as they age. Scientists use Drosophila to investigate complex biological activities in a simple but intact living system. Fly research provides answers to some of the most challenging questions in biology and biomedicine, including how cells transmit signals and form ordered structures, how we can interpret the wealth of human genome data now available, and how we can develop effective treatments for cancer, diabetes, and neurodegenerative diseases. And this is written by a scientist, Stephanie Elizabeth Moore, who teaches at Harvard Medical School. Okay, all right. So this is an entire book about the history of experimenting on Drosophila. I love my job. All right, let's see what we have here. What's this? Okay, looks like it comes from a person. Why would a person send me anything? Oh, they have a book of their own, maybe? What have we got here? Oh, very nice. Okay, this is actually connected to BookTube. I was opining in a recent video that I thought the Saturday Review, I was holding up a little paperback of a collection of an anthology of great articles that had appeared in the Saturday Review, and I opined in that video that I thought maybe the Saturday Review had gone out of print, or stopped publication, or gone online, or whatever, and one of you mentioned to me that it had not, that it in fact exists still as a print journal devoted to Sherlock Holmes and all things Holmesiana, and offered to send me a copy. And here it is. Look at this. Isn't this lovely? The Saturday Review of Literature. So what is a Saturday Review? Let's see, what in this issue, 221B, What and Where, a comprehensive examination. Deficit, Damnation, and Death, Christopher Morley and his clubs. Oh my, that's fascinating. Conan Doyle's Neologisms, a debate. Oh my. Some reviews of Sherlock Holmesiana. Oh, this looks like so much fun. Ooh, lots of reviews. I wonder if the Saturday Review is looking for reviewers of Sherlock Holmes books. From a Sherlock Holmes fan who'd be perfectly willing to take a test to prove that. I wonder if they are. Oh my. How wonderful. Okay. Well, this is just a treat. Oh, how great. This is, okay, so this is the, this is the Saturday Review, which does still exist. Every issue costs $5. I'm trying to see how often it's published. Okay, I have to examine it to find out, and I don't want to do that and waste your time. But I would gladly buy this if it were on the newsstand. I wonder if I can subscribe to it, or perhaps work off a subscription with my pen. But anyway, that's I'll figure that out and report back. And then last thing is a box, and then we'll be done with this surprise Federal Holiday Mail Haul. I don't know if somebody's breaking the rules on my behalf or not. My U.S. mail truck driver, my mail carrier, my FedEx driver, my UPS driver, I know them all. I've known them all for years. I don't know if they would or not. Well, anyway, let's see what's next here. Okay. Okay, this next one comes out on March the 1st. It's from Oxford. I didn't request it, but it looks interesting. It's by Adam Latz, and it's called Fundamentalist U, Keeping the Faith in American Higher Education. Colleges, universities, and seminaries do more than just transfer knowledge to students. They sell themselves as experiences that transform young people in unique ways. The conservative evangelical Protestant network of higher education has been no different. In the 20th century, when higher education sometimes seems to focus on sports, science, and social excess, conservative evangelical schools offered a compelling alternative. On their campuses, evangelicals debated what it meant to be a creationist, a Christian, a proper American, all within the bounds of biblical revelation. Instead of encouraging greater personal freedom and deeper pluralistic values, conservative educational schools thrived by imposing stricter rules on their students and faculty. In this book, the author shows that these colleges have always been more than just schools. They have been vital intellectual citadels in America's culture wars. That's absolutely true. These unique institutions have defined what it meant to be an evangelical and have reshaped the landscape of American higher education. The book asks the questions about that formative process. How have conservative evangelicals hoped to use higher education to instill a uniquely evangelical identity? Oh my. All right, so this is going to be infuriating reading, but probably very interesting. Okay. Evangelical universities. That even now in 2018 very often forbid interracial dating, that teach creationism, including young earth creationism, just flat out fairy tales in place of established, grounded science that the rest of the world uses, so that you come out not only with your head stuffed with mythology, but a laughingstock to anyone you meet, to literally anyone you meet. I wonder if this book will come up with positives to counterbalance those huge negatives. Let's see what the author's very young. Goodness gracious. He's a professor of education and history at Binghamton University. He's already written several books, and he's the winner of Higher Education Society's Outstanding Book Award in 2016. Okay, so he's been around. He knows what he's talking about. So I wonder if he will take the fair and balanced route and try and find something positive to say about these institutions. I don't know. I've been to a lot of fundamentalist universities, and I've seen what they want. And they don't just want it for themselves. They want it for the world. They want no women in positions of power anywhere. Women's places in the house, raising children and making food, but not leading university, not leading classes, not leading anything. Races are to be kept separate and hierarchical. It's not just that they're supposed to be separate, they're not separate and equal. And every one of the places that I went to, routinely, even in classes that aren't even nominally devoted to science, students are told over and over and over again that the Earth was created by magic 6,000 years ago. When I was on my second marriage to Deb 6,000 years ago. So, but anyway, no, that's going to be fascinating. That's probably going to the top of the list here. So we have Fundamentalist U. We have First in Fly, about the century-long misery of Drosophila melanogaster. We have Eye Level, a small collection of poetry, and delightfully, we have the Saturday Review, which does still exist and is a Sherlock Holmes magazine that I think could probably use a new reviewer. And that's it. I'm sure I'll be back with more. But in the meantime, that's a start for a bleak and barren Monday. Thank you, BookTube.